Thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited to partner with you guys. I think this is a wonderful resource, like you said, that people may not know about for your services. So I'm always readily available to do presentations and to share this information. And once again, my name is Carlithia Collier, and I am the one-stop manager under WorkSource Atlanta Regional in Gwinnett County. Um, we have one-stop career centers all over Atlanta for every workforce board. So basically in the state of Georgia, there are 19 workforce boards, and there's a one-stop operator for every workforce board. Okay, so I am one of those 19 one-stop operators. The federal government gives funding through the Federal Department of Labor to WorkSource Georgia to provide resources such as training that we're going to talk about in a few minutes, the WIOA program, which is phenomenal, but also to bridge all these partners together and have them in what we call a one-stop shop, right? So that everybody can come in and get all of these phenomenal resources in one place, which is phenomenal, such as, of course, Department of Labor, Vocational Rehabilitation, Technical College System of Georgia, AARP or CSEP, and Partnership for Community Action. So those, of course, WIOA and youth. So those are our mandated partners that must be co-located in some form inside of the one-stop centers. So you can live in Albany and you can find, the one-stop operator there or career center and have the same resources. So they designed it so everybody's particularly doing the same thing in every local area. So my partner, One Stop Operators in Albany, that's why I brought her up under this contractor. So, but what I'm going to go ahead and talk about and share my screen in just a second is what we do initially. What we do, I did that in a quick nutshell, but just some of the fantastic resources that we have available through these career centers. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is a brief overview, like I said, of the career centers. We're invested in them. So we have something called LinkedIn Learning that has over 5,000 courses. Everybody's familiar with LinkedIn. If you're not, it's a networking avenue for you to find jobs, and especially for the young lady who talked about her LLC. I know that she's probably got a LinkedIn page, and if she does not, she needs to have one. In LinkedIn, we can sign her up, for example, participants up, and you can take online learnings for free, online learning courses for free, such as project management, QuickBooks. I had a young lady who wanted web design, um, human resource certifications, how to start your own business, probably things about LLC. Everything is in here. So if the participant wants to sign up, they have to register in our portal, which I'll talk about later, and give us a call, and we'll get them signed up. But we encourage you to already have a LinkedIn page. Okay, so this is absolutely phenomenal. This is something new that we just got a couple of months ago. So we're so excited to have it. And we have people signing up and saying, hey, I was able to create my resume on here. I was able to take all of these courses. One good thing about this, the LinkedIn Learning, is that once you take a course online, you get a certificate of completion that you can add, print out, as well as add to your resume and or your LinkedIn profile. So these are real courses that really count and prepare you for national certifications as well. So if you want to do your project management or human resources, you could take this course, and then you would have to pay for your own exam, but the course is free. So phenomenal, phenomenal.
That's a
We
great deal. I want to say that's a great deal because for individual members, it's like the fee is like $300 a year to
mhm.
join.
Yes,
So
it
for
is.
it to be free, that's really
Yes,
good.
you would have to pay for this on your own. If you were out there and didn't know about this, you're not
Hmm.
a part of our portal, you would have to pay for that. Exactly. So lots of people loving this, and so we're excited to share that to our job seekers. Um, yes. And as I'm going along, if anybody, like she did, want to kind of interrupt, ask a quick question,
Sorry.
can't see. No, I like that.
I had to say
Kind of,
that
yeah, I'm so
because I
glad this
paid
is
it.
what it's about. Absolutely. And if somebody sees a question that I can't see in the chat box, just let me know as I'm navigating through this. Once again, we have at the career centers, most most of all of the one stops do online personal hiring events with employers. So that's exciting. So, I'm having hiring events pretty much every week with an employer for various jobs. And of course, I do one stop community resource webinars every other week, and I include updated, job fairs that we're having within WorkSource Atlanta Regional. And once again, we help you identify local resources in the community, such as yourself. If I had a job seeker, I had a call, I think I reached out to Suzanne, I get calls, hey, I'm in a hotel suite, I need some help. I can contact those resources for someone, just like the young lady who said for her LLC. I would work with them, job seekers one-on-one. Sometimes I'll spend 40 minutes on a phone call with a participant just to make sure they get what they need. That's just how invested we are. So I just always like
Alicia,
to go.
um,
Yeah.
are the a lot of our people are earning in that 15 to 16.50, maybe 17 dollars an hour range. They're trying to get closer to 20. Are there jobs like that on this? Um,
Sometimes, like I said, I never know. Sometimes, like we're going to have a big, huge job fair at the end of this month with the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce. So there's going to be over 50 employers there. So those will be top name companies that people can branch out in little rooms within the platform, the webinar platform. So yes, we do from time to time get high paying jobs, apprenticeships. Sometimes I just never know when they're coming in. It's just like whatever's coming at us, as like anything else. But what we try to do is when someone comes to us and they say they want to make more money, we have to look at that person as an individual. What's their skill set? We all want to make a lot of money, but what do you have to offer the employer that's going to get you to the $20 an hour? Do you need to tweak your resume up? Is there something, like you said, take the LinkedIn course that you can add to your repertoire? We have to look at that. But yes, there are often jobs come through with big companies like Georgia Power, um, Coca-Cola. We get them not as much as we would like because the bigger companies use their own recruiting systems a lot of times. They already have their own recruiters. So, but what we do is try to send you to that particular company if we have a recruiter that we know personally, or we have, once again, like I said earlier, we have a division at the Atlanta Regional Commission, which is our business services division, and so they work with the bigger companies in the area. So they will reach out to me or I'll reach out to them and say, hey, what companies are you working with now? And they'll say, oh, we got a hiring event with Georgia Power, things like that. So it's a collaborative effort. So we talk to each customer as an individual because we don't know if that person has enough skills or training, and this is what the training is for. What can we do to make you more marketable to the employer so that you can make $20 an hour? Once again, we'll talk about apprenticeships. Maybe you need to get a skill, and I'll talk about that, I think, briefly in this presentation. So as we go through it, you'll see how it's coming together for sure to get that increased income. Wonderful question, though. And then once again, I talked about the LinkedIn Learning. So another resource that I like to talk about, and that kind of leads into making more money as well. Some of you may already know about Hope Inc., but they are a nonprofit organization and they assist you with, if you're currently enrolled in a 2-year or 4-year institution, they will pay up to $400 for your rent and childcare stipends up to $100 a week. So what's amazing about this is that you can be using the WIOA program in conjunction with this. This is just one thing I always like to point out. So they will help you from your freshman year to your senior year if you're a single parent. So if you're saying, hey, and you could be working, they don't care what your income is. So if you say, hey, I want to change my life, I want to make more money, whether you're approved for the WIOA program or not, here is another resource I wanted to point out, because you can go to school, get financial aid, do something like registered nurse, some high demand field that you want to do, which is phenomenal. And so I just wanted to talk about this one a little bit. For those who are working and they're over the income limits for WIOA program, this is one I would definitely refer them to. They also help you if your car breaks down. They've been giving individuals new cars, helping them for emergency. Oh, my lights went off yesterday. Oh, they'll pay the whole bill. I mean, months of rent. It is phenomenal. So this is a fantastic resource that I wanted to share because, like she said, how are you going to increase your income? You may need some kind of short-term certification, even if it's a 1 year or 2 years program. They can assist you. So, any questions about this particular opportunity that you might want to ask?
Yeah, Carlethia, this is Heidi.
Hey,
Hi. So for them to qualify for this particular aid with the Hope Inc., they have to be enrolled in a school program. So she said it doesn't necessarily have to be a 4-year university. It can be, could it be a technical college or
yes,
something like that? Okay,
yes,
great.
exactly. So if they're going for a diploma program in accounting at Gwinnett Tech, they would qualify.
Okay, great.
Isn't
That's a
that
great
wonderful?
resource.
And
Thank you.
they can start talking to them before they get enrolled. So say they know they want to start summer term, they can start the process. So when it starts, they can,
Get
be
the aid lined
eligible.
up first. That's
Mhm.
great.
Yeah, isn't that awesome? So my
Yeah.
favorite resource, I've seen them do so many things. And everything that's talked about here is not everything that they do. So they'll do more if you need it. That's what's so phenomenal, as long
Okay,
as they have the funds to do so.
great. Thank you.
Carlisia, I have a quick question.
Yeah,
I see it says all metro Atlanta counties. I just want to make sure that includes Gwinnett.
it does.
Yes. And that it's, if the client is enrolled in a 2-year college, do they have to be enrolled in a 2-year program?
I was just thinking about that. I want to say that they probably want to see that. I don't want to, say yes or no because Gwinnett Tech offers, programs that are a year and a half, but they're considered, a diploma or associate's program. So I don't want to say yes or no to that, but that's a good question that I will ask. Um, I want to say I'm going to lean toward the yes, just because everybody that they have worked with was doing an associate's program that I know of.
Okay.
So I'm going to lean toward just yes, 80% to that it could be that you need to be at least enrolled in that. But like
Okay.
I said, I'm always thinking situations where if you start an associate's and you can't finish it and you say, okay, I'll just wrap up the diploma program, they've already started paying anyway. So, they may say,
Good
okay,
point.
we'll just continue to get you something. And so that's a wonderful question. I'm going to ask her just to be certain, but I would lean
Okay.
toward the yes in that for now.
Great.
Question though. I was just thinking that in my mind because I was like, that's the one thing I'm missing, but most people are enrolled in a 2-year initially program.
Mhm.
Good question. Good one. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the WIOA training education services. So for some of you who don't know, if you approve for the program, you can get up to $7,000 for a 1-year program. So if you go to Gwinnett Tech and you want to do a diploma in accounting, it's 1 year exactly, then we would pay up to 7,000. So you don't automatically get that 7,000. So if your program is 6,000, that's all you receive is 6,000. And that includes books and supplies, required supplies. So we don't do laptops, unfortunately. We only do things that are required within the coursework. So if an instructor says you need to have I don't know, 5 USBs for whatever they're about to do, then of course we'll pay for that. Things that are required for the course itself. Um, and also for nursing programs and things like that, we'll have uniforms that we'll pay for 2 uniforms, stethoscope, all of those supplies that are needed for the medical programs as well, which is phenomenal. Also, so if you're going to a 2-year program like an associate's program, we will give up to $10,000 for 2 years. So once again, that's the maximums in that line. However, if you choose a program that is $8,000 and it's under a year, if it's 9 months, then you would have to come up with the difference, for that if that happens. It doesn't happen often, but every now and then there's something that you might be over the 7,000 for 1 year. So you can only get the 10,000 if it's over 52 weeks. If it's 52 weeks and 2 weeks after that, you'll get the $10,000. But if it's can't be, 9 months and then you get the 10,000. So I always like to reiterate that. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in detail. So you can see I just put the website up here for a quick second. It'll be again on another slide, but you would go to atlworks.org/eligibility to make application. Okay, and we'll go into that in detail in just a second. So
Okay.
basically, does anybody have any questions before I move on?
I had a question. This is actually Bernie and not Betsy.
Oh, okay, you want to go ahead and say it? Hi,
Yeah. So,
Brian.
so the max includes everything. It includes tuition, includes books, includes it's not 7,000. Excuse me, it's not 7,000 for the education, and then an additional stipend for. Okay,
Yeah.
it's an inclusive. Okay, that's all. Very good.
Everything is included in that amount, but usually it's enough. We don't have a problem with that because most of our approved programs kind of know what we give and they kind of stay underneath that just because they know that we'll give them that maximum amount. So if people have to take an exam, so if the 7,000 takes care of all their tuition, books, and supplies, and they have to still take a $350 exam, they would have to pay for that if it's not under 7. But once again, this is very rare. I know most of our participants do not have to come out of pocket for anything. That only time that happens where they have to come out of pocket is typically when they're working on a bachelor's degree. So we're picking them up in their junior year. Remember, we can only do 2 years or less, but we can pick up somebody in their 3rd year of college. So if they're finishing up an accounting degree at Georgia State, they're a junior, they're fully accepted, and they have 2 years left. We would pay up to $10,000 for those last 2 years. But at a 4-year university, it's going to cost more than $10,000. So we would have to make sure that you had additional financial aid, Hope, Pell, or student loans for that. That's the only time where I see it. Typically, you need more is for the 4-year to finish up the 4-year degrees. Good question, though. Good question. Any other questions about that? All right, I love it. So for the high demand occupations, a lot of people say, well, what do we pay for? So these are the main 3 areas that we look at: computer and information technology, transportation and logistics, and medical fields. We do not pay for any commission-based professions like real estate, barbering or cosmetology. And like she said, the LLC, starting your own business. We can only give you resources for starting your own business because the funding is the way the federal government looks at it is that if they're going to provide this funding to the participants, they want you to get a job with an hourly wage within 60 to 90 days after finishing your certification. So that's why we don't look for anything but high demand occupations or pay for that. But somebody who want to start their own business might say, you know what? I want to take a diploma in accounting because I need to know some numbers to keep my business right. So they still may opt to take something like accounting, and then they're still going to look at starting their own business. That's okay, but it still has to be something that we can pay for that's considered high demand occupation. So within the computer information technology area, there's things like Oracle, database administration, programming languages, SQL, associates in computer technology, completing your bachelor's in computer technology if you're in your 3rd year. Transportation and logistics is going to include all of your hands-on trades, welding, automotive technology, truck driving. We have a lot of women that want to do truck driving as well. So that's a wonderful area. So we have lots of things there. And of course, all your medical fields that can be completed in 2 years or less. Or if you're doing a bachelor's in nursing, you just have to be in your 3rd year. So we do nursing, LPN, RN, dental assistant, medical assistant, CNA, PCT, pharmacy tech, just the whole 9. I'm probably missing quite a few. Medical office administration, really popular for our program is the medical fields, because the medical fields, you can grow and make money as you're growing into the medical field. Salaries are really good. Even the lower line, the CNAs are starting to, and PCTs are starting to get paid, $14, $15 an hour. So, that's something to think about if you're interested in the medical field. The registered nurses, of course, pay the most. They're starting anywhere from $60,000 to $70,000, and that's only with an associate's degree. A lot of people think, oh, I got to have a bachelor's degree to make that money. You do not. A registered nurse can get an associate's degree and make $70,000. It's phenomenal. Okay, the bachelor's degree it's good because the bachelor's degree ultimately gives you more money, like you want to be a lead nurse or something like that. But you do not have to go 4 years to be a registered nurse and make good money. I always like to talk about that for 2 seconds too. A lot of people don't know that. I didn't know that until I started when I got a job. I thought you had to have a bachelor's degree. Nope, you do not. Fantastic. Any
Can I?
questions about the
Well,
high demand occupation?
I have a statement.
Sure.
So this is Judy again. So I have a medical office management association degree,
Mhm.
but I learned that unless I have nursing experience or nursing degree, things of that nature, it will not apply for me. So I just want
Yeah.
anybody else to know if they plan on going into that, you
Mhm.
need to be within, becoming a nurse, basically.
Right.
CNA, anything of that nature, then
Mhm.
that's when it would benefit
Kick
you
in a little
to
bit.
have that degree.
I agree with the medical office administration and administrative, all of that line. Yeah, it's so many things that when you are approved for the WIOA program, you're going to be assigned a career counselor, and they're going to talk to you about things based on what you have. That's why I say it's so unique to the individual, because we can say, well, what problems have you been having? Why have you not been able to find a job? And they'll tell us, and then we'll say, okay, well, let's do this. Let's talk about things you could do to get you back to work in your field for sure. Yeah, and it's ever changing, like technology and medical fields are ever changing. So we tell people who are interested in computer information technology, what I warn them about that field is that it is a phenomenal field, but you have to always want to keep learning all the time. You never stop going to class. You never stop learning the most newest technology. A lot of people will have gotten a degree 15 years ago in computer information technology, haven't taken any certifications, haven't done anything to sustain that, and they're falling behind. And so that's one thing we warn people about. You got to be wanting to be a lifelong learner when you're going into the computer information technology. But if you don't like opening up a book, you're tired of learning, then that may not be the thing for you. And we like to give it to you real. We like to talk to you specifically about it. So thank you for sharing that information, because we want people to know about certain fields, very much so. Good questions. Um, so this is what our website looks like, just to give you the look. WorkSourceGeorgiaPortal.com. So when individuals are making application for the program, this is where they would upload their documents. But I'll get to that in a second. But you can see on the main page here, under business services, you can see that they have that you can search for schools and programs under those first two links under business services. So you got training providers in schools and training and education programs. The difference between those two is that the first one you would click on if you know the name of the school you want to go to. I want to see if Gwinnett Tech is a vendor on this list. So you would look it up by school name. If you don't have any idea where you want to go to school, you would just come to the second one, training and education programs, and do a keyword search by the subject. So I want to be a registered nurse, so I want to know what schools offer that. So that's the difference in between those two. So if you have somebody that try to go to the providers in schools and put in registered nurse, it may not work because it's reading that that's the name of the school that they want to look for. So make sure, if they don't know, they're really searching for schools, to make sure to click on the second one, which is the training and education programs, so that they can search by keyword search for programs. Okay, I just like to reiterate that. So basically, up at the top, you kind of see where you see it's not registered yet. So for those people who may not want WIOA training, but want to get registered for LinkedIn Learning, you have to be registered for us to register you for LinkedIn Learning. So they would come up to the not registered yet and then register as an individual. All of these other things on here is still phenomenal, career tips, just like it says, what's going on in the job, labor market, and so forth. Also under business services, you can see there's online learning resources. There's another tool similar to LinkedIn Learning where you can take, it's called Allison, and you can take courses there too, free courses. So it gives you other courses that you can take even on this website. So just kind of wanted to give an overview of this website, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as time goes on. But this is the page that they will come to get registered once again. If they have any problems with getting registered, they can just give us a call. We can reset passwords. We can go in and see if they did everything correctly. So you would just really call the main number and we would talk them through and look them up and make sure they're good to go in our system. Easy.
Carlita, the section that's called Education Program Completers, is that for people who have dropped out for some reason and wish to restart?
Actually, that is for people who have successfully completed a program and they're looking for, maybe they're having a hard time finding work for whatever reason.
Okay.
So they have finished it, and then they can go in there and say, oh, I finished my associates in automotive technology. It may give them resources for, how to look for jobs in their field, some of the same things we would help them with. That's what that is. So when they actually finish the program,
Gotcha.
what they can do to help them move forward. Like the young lady said, I was in healthcare administration. Maybe that's a section she could come in and just kind of look at to see what resources she could look at. It's so much, and I know I try to squeeze it into 1 hour, but so I just kind of want to talk of it. Most of it's self-explanatory, but even still, what our staff does, especially me and my front desk assistant, we would walk them through things and say, oh, what are you having problems with? What do you need help with? That's what we do. That's what our job is to do, is to help those people who initially are coming to look at our resources. How can we help them? Okay, good question. All right, so really quickly, I want to go to the website because it was too many slides. I just said, you know what? We're going to go to the website, but the website once again is atlworks.org/eligibility to apply for WIOA training services. Okay, so just give me a second and I'm going to try to go to the site. Okay, when you go to the site, as you can see at the top, there it is, atlworks.org/eligibility. This is what you're going to be seeing. Okay. Step 1, it tells you how to go through everything step by step. If you follow these steps, you won't have any problems. I say that, but that's what we're here for, to help. So when you go to make application, the first thing you want to do is watch this 20-minute video because it's telling you how to submit your documents on the website that we looked at just before, the WorkSource Georgia portal. So it's a wonderful video. If you don't look at the video, it's going to make it really confusing. But even if somebody doesn't understand, we'll walk them through, how to do it. So we just want them to at least look at the video first so they can get their mind and eyes wrapped around what it looks like, right? So you'll look at the video. The step 2, this is probably what confuses people the most. So I want to kind of
Carlita, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm seeing just the PowerPoint still. I think you need to select your other screen.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Let me do that. I might have, yeah, you're probably right. Let me do this. Let me see. I'm gonna try to figure this one out. Share screen. Give me one more second. I'm so sorry. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm so sorry. All right. Zoom is new to me, but I'm learning. I think, how about now?
There you go.
All right, yay. I was trying to do a quick tutorial about it right before we started, so I want to make sure. Okay, so there you go. All right, so thank you for that. It's a little different than WebEx for me. So here you go. So once again, you can see, like I said, step 1, I just want to kind of come back up a little bit. There it is. Step 1 is going to tell them to watch the video, as you can see. Watch how to submit your document. So here you go. So you can see there's a video right here. And so they will watch that video so they can learn how to register in the portal, like I said before. Thank you. Sorry you guys wasn't on that. There you go. So next, step 2, after they watch the video, this is the part I wanted to talk about. So they have to determine which checklist they're going to use, the adult or the dislocated worker. Very simply, adult documents would be someone who might be working right now, working part-time, receiving TANF for food stamps, and we're going to base the eligibility on their income because they do not receive unemployment benefits. Okay. The dislocated worker to me is easy. They were laid off from a job and they're receiving unemployment benefits. That's it. The adult funding person would be the person who does not receive unemployment benefits. 9 times out of 10, they cannot go under a dislocated worker unless they receive unemployment benefits or they ran out of unemployment, but they were a dislocated worker and they don't have any more unemployment benefits, but they're still going to have their documentation for a dislocated worker. So they're going to choose one of these checklists, whichever one they're under, and then there's the application that they fill out along with the checklist. So that's one document, adult or dislocated worker, and then the application is the same for everybody, right? Because we're determining what funding source they're going to go under. For example, the federal government gives us a certain amount of money for each category, but it doesn't, one is not better than the other. Sometimes they give us more money under a dislocated worker. So sometimes we'll run out of money for a dislocated worker first and still have money for adult. That's the difference. It's just how much money we receive. We might get $1 million for dislocated worker and 500,000 for adult. So the thing is, if we run out of money and the person is an adult, we ran out of adult, they would have to wait until we got more funding for them to go to training. So that's the difference between the two funding sources. So they will fill out an application, which right now it's the same application for all 5 counties in Metro Atlanta, which is wonderful. Of course, you can see here, Cobb, DeKalb, Fulton, and City of Atlanta. So they have to also, so the third document would be the grievance and complaint policy. They're not filing a grievance. Everybody gets that confused. They're just filling out a form that they understand about our policy if they feel like they've been discriminated against. Okay. So, and that's pretty much it. Here you go. You got 3 documents: adult or dislocated worker, the WIOA application, and then one of the grievance policies depending on your county. And for Gwinnett, you can see we're a part of the Atlanta Regional. We handle 7 counties. So anybody who lives in any of these counties would print off the grievance for Atlanta Regional, and then all the subsequent counties would click on that and fill out that grievance. And then they're going to register on the portal, and you guys saw the portal earlier. And then it tells them to do register on the portal. So that's it. But once they do all of that, they make their application and upload their documents. They want to just make sure, and as you see, step 3, they're going to gather their documents. Like I said, your social security card, driver's license, and so forth. And then they're going to upload them. And it tells you a video how to upload the documents in the portal. Very easy. If you follow those steps, it's phenomenal. Step by step, they got it. And then once you do that, you're going to locate your local career center, call them up and tell them that you've uploaded your documents. And there's a link here to find your local career center to where your application would go to. Any questions about just some of anything that I just discussed? Just want to talk about that a little bit. All right, good. So I'm going back to the top. I'm using my laptop without a mouse. So move this over because I think you guys might see that. Let me know. So on the right-hand side here, you can see your roadmap to the WIOA training funding. So if they look at any of these additional resources, frequently asked questions, there's a high demand occupation list here. I talked about it a little bit a few minutes earlier, just, some of the areas that we cover. But if they click on that, I'll click on it, it's going to break it down even more to some of the programs that we possibly will cover. So you can see there's business and financial, computer areas, just to give you more of a snapshot of the things that we would cover. You see that? So it's all right there for people just to browse. And these are not all inclusive. These are just certain areas that we feel that are popular. Okay. Any questions about this? So everything is on this site. So I always like to kind of show that. Okay.
I'd just like to point out, Carlethia, that this document that you're showing right now is available to anyone to view. It's not just for those that have applied.
Correct.
And then also that by applying, you're not committing, you're just starting a process that's necessary to sit down with a counselor.
Correct.
And in order to sit down with someone such as yourself, this process is necessary first.
Correct. Absolutely correct. So, and then if they say, I just don't want to do an application, That's fine too. When the doors are open, usually when the doors are open, COVID is kind of throwing a wrench in that. When the doors are open, individuals would just come in the center and we would meet with them right on the spot. What do you need? We'll get a career advisor that will come out and just talk to them right on the spot. But because it's COVID, if they think they're even interested in a training program, just go ahead and apply so that they can, you're right, just to have that immediate access and be assigned a career counselor. So, and even if, like you're saying, you're absolutely right, they don't want to take a training, they still would receive one-on-one customized service from a career coach or a career advisor. Very
So
good.
you're doing that all by phone now, it looked like.
Yeah,
Right?
all by phone right now. Even the
Mhm.
career advisors are doing all their appointments by phone.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we can do it by that because we can, even when we were open and everything was going good, when I was a career advisor 5 years ago, sometimes I still would have full 30-minute sessions on the phone. If the customer could not drive in to the center, I would still have a full consultation on the phone with them and we could walk through the internet together, whatever. We can do it, not even being in person, but and it's even sometimes even better. They save gas if they're unemployed, but if they can come in, we like to give them assessments and things like that. But we worked either way. Either way, we
I
make it
might be
happen.
jumping ahead here with this question, but
Okay.
um, is COVID potentially making some of the content of the programs easier to complete remotely than it would
Yeah.
have otherwise?
Yes. And so for sure, because most of the programs are trying to find either hybrid schedules or online. A lot of them are doing online. Medical is a little harder. So they'll say, hey, we'll do a little something on the tail end. But yeah, pretty much all the other courses besides maybe some of your medical fields, and your truck driving and certain things where you have to have some kind of contact, they can do it online. Mhm. Most of the schools are working that way to make that happen. Mhm. Just so you know.
It's great.
Good thing. Good thing. So ever since we were saying, so I'm gonna make sure I'm sharing the appropriate screens here. So you guys should have been looking at. We're back to the roadmap, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Good. So, but yes. So, any questions about what I discussed thus far? Anything about any types of training, or just want to kind of touch bases with that real quickly before I move on to the next thing? All right. So I'm going to try to come back to my PowerPoint then. Okay. All righty. So go to a full screen share. Okay. All right. So outside of the WIOA, we have other resources I want to talk about really quickly. The disability, we have an on-site disability employment coordinator. Sometimes we have participants that said, hey, I hurt my hand and I need some kind of assistive technology to help me get back to work. This particular person will help with Social Security benefits, accommodations. How can you get back to work if you have a mild disability, that, vision impaired, just anything? She can help you, get back to work and give you the resources and tools that can help you. Of course, we have veteran services. I'm a veteran, so I can help with some things, but we do have some representatives that we can refer you to at the Department of Labor for additional services for veterans. And of course, your youth services, individuals who can help people or youth that needs their GED. We have services in our center, partners that we can refer those individuals to. So if you know someone that's young and between the ages of 18 to 24, we have GED courses on site. On site for the adults, but then we have other programs for the youth. So just wanted to kind of talk about that really quickly. We talked about adult education. We already talked about that. If those who don't know, if any participants don't have their GED, you can take free courses at Gwinnett Technical College. Also, we have English as second language courses that we had on site from 6 to 9 p.m. We had that on site before, but because of COVID, we had to kind of, do it differently, but they're still doing it in person, but they are following, CDC guidelines for distancing. So just so you know, if
Are both of those free?
yeah,
All of
all
that's
free,
free. Yeah.
all free. Isn't that awesome? And people don't know that, so that's why we share this information. We have so many people that have been working, 15 years and still did not ever obtain their GED or high school diploma, and we can help them with that. Also, the Gwinnett Public Library has a program where you can actually get your high school diploma through them. So that's something I did not know. So those are the kind of resources we could refer people to if they still want the traditional high school diploma. There's still a way to get that as an adult as well. Mhm. If you just say, okay, I just don't want the GED, I want an actual high school diploma, they have a program which is phenomenal for adult online. Yeah, I didn't know that for a long time. So, but they came to my partner meeting and discussed that. So that's absolutely wonderful. And of course, you can see we have resources for Partnership for Community Action, and of course AARP, Partnership for Community Action, to help you with utilities and so forth, rent, mortgage, temporary housing as well. And they also have some small training things they were talking about, and I can't remember, but they have I want to say they did something like forklift or CNA, so they even do some trainings for individuals. So just want to kind of let you know that. This over here for a second. And then, of course, AARP for individuals who are 55 or older. They just want to do something for 20 hours a week. And you're 55 years or older. Once COVID is better, I don't know if they're kind of slowing their business down right now, but once that's over, then, they place individuals in jobs, which is phenomenal. And so you can just get something, you just want a part-time job. You're 55 or older, they can assist with that as well. So we have a mandated partnership with all of these individuals that are on this slide. Mhm. Awesome stuff. So I really wanted to talk a little bit about, I know we were talking about WIOA, and before we were talking about how can you make more money? Well, if you don't know, the Federal Department of Labor has what we call apprenticeships that are free to pretty much any job seeker. I'll say that. What the apprenticeships are is that you can work and learn a new skill at the same time. And all apprenticeships are approved by the Federal Department of Labor. Some of them may not even show up on our website. So if you know of an apprenticeship, you just may want to ask us, and then we can get with the Atlanta Regional Commission to double check. But this is just an example of one. You can make up to $18 an hour learning a new skill. So you're going to school and you're earning this money at the same time. That's what apprenticeships are. So it can be, most of them are hands-on trades apprenticeships, but not always. Sometimes we have companies who want to, if you know a little bit of computer information, they want to train you. Okay. So as long as they're an approved apprenticeship with WorkSource Georgia, you would work, and so somebody could make almost $18 an hour, learn how to install solar panels, and then after they're done, they're going to make way more than this. But this is what they will earn while they're in training, anywhere from $11 to $18. The span of income with this one just means that somebody might already have more experience than the next person. But if somebody's not working, they want to go through this, they'll start, say they're entry level, no experience, they might get $11 or $12 an hour. But then by the time they're finished, they're up to 18 in that training. So these apprenticeships can be anywhere from a year to 2 years long. But all apprenticeships are earned while you learn, all of them. So they can go to our website, the WorkSource Georgia portal, type in under programs apprenticeships, and it'll pull up any registered apprenticeships that are on our website at the time. These are phenomenal. I did so many of these as a career advisor for 13 years. And some of these, like especially the electrical apprenticeship, they were making like $25 an hour while they were learning. So these are phenomenal for people who just say, hey, I just want to change my profession, learn a good skill, and always have work. So any questions about apprenticeships that anyone want to ask?
Did I understand you to say that there was a list on your website?
If you, on one of the previous slides, and this one, if you can see it, if you're not driving, I don't know. But the WorkSource Georgia portal, same place, you go under business services, under the second one, like I said, when you're searching for programs and you don't know what school you want to go to, you put a keyword search in apprenticeships, and then it will pull up the apprenticeships that are registered in our portal. One thing I want to say about this, I always forget, so forgive me. When you're typing in apprenticeships, it's either with or without the S. I always forget. I want to say it's with the S, because if you put apprenticeship with no S when you're doing your keyword search, it may not pull up anything. So just if it doesn't, it's one or the other, and I'm going to get that in my mind. But I think it's with an S. But just remember that when you do that. So some people say, I put in apprenticeship and nothing pops up. I'm like, oh, add the S. So I think it's adding the S. Yes.
Carlethia, this is
Yes.
Michelle. I have a question about the apprenticeships. Do you have to have a high school diploma or a GED?
Some of them, no.
Okay.
It depends on the apprenticeship. Some of them you do not. Some
We
of
see
them
this
do
debate that
require
you
it.
got all dressed up.
Yeah, that's
I
a
got
wonderful question. It all depends on the apprenticeship type.
Okay.
And many of them, especially the hands-on, a lot of them may not require that. But
It's a nice
always,
blue.
No, no, don't do like that.
oh, somebody had a question. But then I would just lean toward the yes, just to be, but many of them I know for a fact do not require you because of the type of work that you're doing. The more advanced it is, they might want you to have one, but ultimately, majority of them might say no if it's a hands-on apprenticeship. So yeah, you just have to talk to them and they'll tell you if it's required.
Thank you.
Try to lean toward the yes if possible, but yeah, you just ask them. And I've had, and I can't remember the ones, it was another one. Oh, I can't remember this apprenticeship, but I just remember they were saying, no, you didn't have to have one. And I forget what they were doing. It was, what were they doing? But I know they needed steel toe boots. I forget the name of it, but yeah, they said no. So yes, so you just have to ask them. Good question.
Hi, everyone. I am so sorry. I apologize. My daughter came in to harass me, so I'm sorry. I'm going to mute now.
No worries.
Okay.
I figured that. I said, somebody I know, typically I have my grandson sometimes as well.
Carlita, this is Bernie. Originally, we talked about the HOPE program. It was for single parents. Now, are all of these programs under WorkSource, they're just for single parents, or are they for anybody?
The HOPE program was for single parents. Everything that we're talking about today is for everybody.
Okay.
Anybody and everybody. But the HOPE is unique to single parents because they know a lot of times that it's difficult for people who are single parents to go back to school and have assistance. And so they want to help you with your rent, your, childcare. So that's the only one that's for single parents. Everything we do at the One Stop Center is for everybody. We have people call us up, make six figures, but they couldn't figure out why they can't make six figures again. We whatever. We're going to help every spectrum of income earners across the globe. Yes, that's what makes this such a phenomenal program. Because a lot of the people who made higher dollars or more money, they may want to get on LinkedIn Learning, like I said earlier, and learn and get project management. They need those higher certifications. So yeah, everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome.
Thank you.
So reason why I brought up the HOPE Inc. is because apparently, according to Suzanne, that a lot of times it's single mothers that are going through the program. So for motel to home. So that's why I added that one in there. But we have so many resources. And like I said, this is a snapshot of what everything that we do in this program today or this webinar today. Wonderful. Next, I want to talk about underutilized resource, and the labor commissioner Mark Butler was just on the news recently talking about, Employ Georgia or Department of Labor has tens of thousands of jobs on Employ Georgia. Now, most people say, oh, I don't want to go to the Department of Labor. But believe it or not, I used to work for the Department of Labor all of 18 years ago, right before I came into WorkSource. But things are still pretty much the same. Most employers go to the Department of Labor to post their job openings because it's free. It's a free service. They have to pay for Career Builder, they have to pay for certain things. So they like to go to the Department of Labor first because they know they can post for free. So I always like to talk a little bit really quickly about Employ Georgia. So when you're looking for work, tell all of your participants to get registered on Employ Georgia and search for jobs, because they're typically really looking for people. Once again, we were talking about the higher incomes. This is where you might want to start. You know, was an example. We had a Department of Labor reached out to me. They was like, oh, we need someone with a 4-year degree, have advanced computer skills. The employer's ready to hire them tomorrow. So I always say, make sure you get registered with the Department of Labor and do your job search that way in conjunction with anything else that you do, because we have connections inside of the Department of Labor. If you come to me and you tell me, Ms. Collier, I saw a position on Employ Georgia, I'm really interested in, what can I do? I can reach out to one of the reps over there and say, hey, Joanne Johnson just, applied. Can you pull that and help her? That's what we do. So I wanted to not miss this. And when I worked at Department of Labor, and I worked in unemployment claims, and I tell you, employers would just pop into the Career Center, and it would be big companies, McKesson, Coca-Cola. They'll just say, hey, we need 15 people today. And whoever was in Department of Labor that day probably got hired. It was phenomenal. So when you're job seeking, when the doors open up, and it's just a future reference, tell people to visit the Department of Labor at least weekly. When they open up. Right now, you could just get employed, registered at employgeorgia.com. Also, you can apply for unemployment benefits. And you can do all of these things, update your address, and claim your weekly benefits at Department of Labor. A lot of people don't know they qualify for unemployment benefits because they were just told by somebody that they didn't qualify. If you did not apply on your own, you don't know if you qualify. If you have any working wages in the last year, a lot of people don't know the Department of Labor looks at a year ago. They don't even look at the current. They actually look at the wages that are in the system a year ago. Your current job you just got laid off from, they use that as their tool to approve you. But remember, if you got fired from your job for some reason a year ago and it was for unjust cause, you need to apply and just let them tell you you're not eligible. You'll be surprised. And what people don't know is that when they deny you for unemployment and you feel like it's not right, you need to appeal it, because 90% of appeals are approved. I will say that. I was there. I know. I talked to the arbitration lawyer. So I tell people, do not give up if you think there is a reason why you should get your unemployment benefits. Appeal it. Let them, if it still don't work, fine. But most of the time, the employers don't even show up for the appeal. That's an automatic approval. Just to let you guys know. Automatic approval.
Carletha, this is probably a dumb question, but can you utilize this Employ Georgia if you're currently employed but just looking for better employment, or do you have to be unemployed?
No, you can be looking for better employment. Yes. Thank you for asking that question. Both of you and Brian asking the great questions, because this is something that everybody can use. And that's what I was saying. You can go on here. I've used it in the past. I think when I worked at the Department of Labor, I was using it, So yes, you can use it. Yes, absolutely. That's why I ended up getting my job in WorkSource, because believe it, as I've been working in WorkSource, I actually post jobs. So when we were posting for additional career advisors, I was doing the posting for my supervisor. I would come right here. That's how we found our people. That's why I know it works. Okay, it works. Any other questions about Employ Georgia? Employgeorgia.com. Just get registered. Okay, fantastic. Really quickly, want to talk about just some work from home opportunities. And once again, you can make a note of any of these companies, but I will be sending out the PowerPoint for those who are on the call today. You can see what we have done is a little research based on customers coming to us and telling us they had a job. We put together a list of companies that are hiring all the time right now, work from home. So these are Cytel, Concentris, Alarica. These are people who actually have told me they got jobs for just about all of these, except for a couple of them like Language Line Solutions, is probably the only one in Aprica. But the rest of them, at least one person has told us they got a job. So I tell people, apply to at least 5 of them. If you like customer service, and most of them will provide you with your own computers, modems. You just may have to have access to fast internet access or something. But outside of that, and some of them will help you pay for it. your internet access. So just want to kind of throw that list out. Once again, I'll send it out in the PowerPoint so anybody can have access to it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No worries. So these are additional hot links I just wanted to put up really quick that, just more jobs, and I added them to the list. Sykes is hiring. MCI Mass Markets was actually looking for Department of Labor representatives for all over the United States, because as everybody know, everybody's like, I'm trying to get my unemployment claim. So they were looking for unemployment reps. So Sutherland was looking for Netflix positions, and some of these were $15 to $17 an hour. Kelly Connect was looking for people who can help, people with their computer systems. And I know somebody who got hired from them, and it's $17 an hour. And then even the IRS, you see how crazy it is with IRS. They are looking for tons of people. So here are some links. So I just wanted to add all of these extra links and put it in your mind that you can share with anybody, whether they're working or not. Good stuff there. Really good stuff. Once again, to reiterate, we have workshop schedules that I do twice a month, and I update job events. So some of it's the same, but I add anything new every other week. So these are the upcoming One-Stop Community Resources webinar, and you just give us a call, and so we'll give you the link, because I kind of create them as we get closer to the webinar. So they can just call our main number, and this is for any county, anywhere. They can come and listen to what's going on all over Atlanta. We have people from DeKalb County on the call. We just refer them to their local resources if necessary. But they can call our number for anything, because even if they don't live in our county area, we can refer them to the correct county. Okay, so just wanted to talk about that.
Alethea, can you be more specific in what's covered on those webinars?
A lot of what's covered is what we covered today. So this was a very much in line with what I talk about in the One-Stop Resource webinar. So I start off talking about mental health resources, because everybody's stressed without having jobs. So I talk about 211, and all of those resources that can help with mental health, food bank resources. I'm really big about talking about all those wraparound resources. I talk about WIOA and everything, how to apply, the whole nine. I talk about apprenticeships, and I talk about work from home jobs. So very similar in the line that I did today. So, but I add a little bit more of resources for, like I said, wraparound services such as food banks, lights, utilities, all the hiring events that are going on all over Atlanta, those kind of things. So very similar to the line that we have today. I slightly customized it to you guys and went a little bit more in depth with WIOA, but it's very similar in its setup, but a little bit more just for the participants.
Thanks.
Good. And if I miss something, I'll think of that. I'll tell you that. But yeah, very similar in the line of what we're doing today. And
Great.
So that pretty much concludes my presentation, but I do want to talk quickly about some success stories that I have, and this is really hard, because believe it or not, I worked in WorkSource for 13 years, and there's so many success stories. I mean, so many, but I'm just going to pick out a couple that hits my head. One was, I had a single parent. Well, she was married, and she had 3 children, and she was married for 20 years. And her husband left her for her best friend. And so she found out about our services some way. Don't remember how she found out. But basically, she came to me and she was like, I'm devastated. She was in tears. She had found out about the WIOA program, and she was like, what can I do? I have 3 children. He kind of left her a little high and dry. She was fighting with things for assistance for the children. So I told her what we all did. And so I start talking about medical fields. And I always like to start with that, because I know that that's such a strong area. So we ended up, after consulting with her, talking about doing respiratory therapy. She did a 2-year program of respiratory therapy at Gwinnett Technical College. And when she came out, she was making, after 2 years, she had not worked in like 10 or 15 years. And she came out making $48,000 as a respiratory therapist. And so it was just phenomenal because she needed help. So she started off having her parents help her keep the kids, and we helped her with childcare as well. But she was so excited and she was so thankful that she was now able to sustain, only after 2 years of education, to sustain her household. And believe it or not, respiratory therapists, that's just starting salaries, you know. So just imagine where she is. That was probably 6 or 7 years ago. I'm using her as an example. Where she is right now. Some of my participants I keep in contact with. But just to tell you her story and what she went through was tough because she was crying pretty much every day. She wanted to drop out. I had to talk to her consistently to not drop out, you know, because not that she wasn't smart enough to do the program, she was highly intelligent, but what it was is that her emotional state kept her from reaching her goal initially. So as a career counselor, we have to do more than just put them in training. A lot of times we have to really say, don't quit, keep going. It's going to pay off. 2 years, it goes so fast, as we all know. We just went through 1 year of COVID, right? So look how quickly another year someone could be finished with training. So you want to talk to them that 2 years is not a long time. Another story that I had was a young lady who she was 19 and she was a single parent, and she was like wanting to do RN, and she got approved. I want to say it was at Georgia Piedmont, and she was struggling too, and she wanted to quit. She stayed in there. She finished. She became a registered nurse at 19 or 20. I know, I'm going to say it was a year or two later. This young lady came out making $60,000 at age 20, and then she moved to New York. We stayed in contact, I think on LinkedIn. She moved to New York and became a nurse trainer, and she went up to $80,000. She was like 25 years old. It was amazing. So that is just two that ultimately stand out in my mind. But let me tell you something. Over 13 years, I've seen so many success stories, and those are just a few to just give you an idea how successful someone could be going through a program like this. Truck drivers who started their own businesses. I mean, I can just go on and on. For a program in truck driving is 3 weeks. Even females do truck driving, and then they're successful, having their own businesses and so forth. So, I mean, this is just to name a few. And another favorite one, this is all my all-time favorite. I had a couple come in that was 69 and 70, okay, in age, and they wanted to teach school. And I'm like, you want to teach school? You want to go into school system with these kids, And they were like, yeah, we want to do special education. So they already had bachelor's degrees, both of them. So they went through a program at University of Georgia for special education online. At 69 and 70, they both became teachers in Gwinnett County. At 69 and 70, it was crazy to me, and I thought it was phenomenal. And only reason her husband, who was 70, he had to stop because he lost his vision. But she continued on. That's the only reason he had to stop a year or two later, because he lost his vision. And I thought they were so inspiring to me. I'm like, that let me know that it's never too late. Never, never, ever, ever, ever. Too late to do what you want to do. So those are some of my phenomenal success stories. Like I said, there's so many more, but those are some that stand out in my mind. Does anybody have any questions or concerns for me about this program?
What is your contact telephone number?
Yes, you can contact me at the main line here at 678-268-6610. My direct desk line is 6607. The last four. Okay?
Thank you.
That's for anybody who wanted that. So, in case you're looking for me and I'm not around, my secretary can tell you or something. But my direct desk line is 678-268-6607. So if you just want to have a conversation with me about anything, you just didn't understand something that was said today. And once again, I just want to reiterate, this is a quick snapshot of what we do. I mean, we do so many other things, but I felt like this is what can give you the formal ideas about what we do under WorkSource Georgia.